Some news that's just coming in right now, where India has raised Pakistan-sponsored terrorism at the UNHRC. That's the latest news that's coming in. India exposing Pakistan once again on the international forum, saying that central issue in Jammu and Kashmir is cross-border terror. That's what the Indian envoy has said in the United Nations Human Rights Council today, where India has raised Pakistan, saying the core issue really is the terrorism, and that is what that Pakistan really needs to address before they have any sort of dialogue with the country. Pakistan, of course, consistently speaking of the K-boogie, the K-word, but it is India that reiterates that first we have to address the core issue, which is of terror, where terror sponsored from Pakistan has to come to an end before India and Pakistan get down to a talking table. And now India has exposed Pakistan once again at the UNHRC here. India has raised Pakistan-sponsored terrorism over there, saying that the central issue at hand in Jammu and Kashmir is not about the territory as much as really it is about terror that emanates from Pakistan. The funding that continues to come in there from Pakistan that is seeing so much of terror in the valley. Let's go across to my colleague Gauri Dwivedi joining us with further details. Good evening, Gauri. We're looking at how India has exposed Pakistan at the UNHRC, saying that it is terror that Pakistan first needs to address before anything else.
Absolutely. The very strong words really coming in at the UNHRC by, of course, Ambassador Rajiv Chandra, who said that, in fact, the statement, let me just quote that, says that the central problem in J&K is cross-border terrorism and Pakistan's use of terrorism as an instrument of state policy, making it absolutely clear that the Pak-sponsored terrorism in Kashmir or J&K is really the central problem that needs to be addressed. India also, of course, categorically denied any issues, when Pakistan raised the issue that it is Indian-administered J&K. India, of course, rebutted all those allegations, saying that it is a democratically elected government in the state of Jammu and Kashmir that represents all sections of society, and it is not just Indian-administered J&K, and, of course, went on to say that unless and until Pak-sponsored terrorism ends in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, normalcy cannot really return.
Absolutely. India, they're shaming Pakistan at the global front once again. And where the human rights violations are concerned, we have done it time and again, isn't it? We've spoken of the issue in Balochistan as well, where we have exposed Pakistan, Gauri, on the human rights violations, where Pakistan tries to do a tit for tat, but doesn't realize that first it has to address the main core issue of terrorism. Terrorism emanating from Pakistan's soil that continues to bleed India, continues to bleed Kashmir and the valley, and that really has to end before these two nations come down to the talking table, Gauri.
Absolutely. This has really been India's stance at all global platforms time and again, that unless and until Pakistan stops exporting terror to India and stops sponsoring terrorism in the valley, talks cannot hold, normalcy cannot resume, and relations between two neighbors will continue to be tense. In fact, let me just remind viewers that only last month there were top US official documents that came out that also said that Pakistan is sponsoring terrorism in the valley. These are in fact US State Department documents that also said and endorsed India's view that Pakistan is the one that is exporting terror in Jammu and Kashmir.
Indeed. Gauri, also tell us in further detail and context in which this conversation really came up, because Pakistan desperately has been trying in the past, as we see, to internationalize the Kashmir issue. And there is a certain amount of fatigue that we have seen, because several nations have come out and taken India's position as well, where India states this is a bilateral issue. This has to be sorted out between India and Pakistan. Pakistan desperately wanting to internationalize this entire Kashmir angle to the problem over there. But once again, we're looking at how today Pakistan stands exposed.
Well, Akshay, India's stance has always been that this is a bilateral issue. This is a territorial dispute really between India and Pakistan, and there is no space for an international agency to really come in. That has been India's stance all along. Pakistan, on the other hand, has always maintained that it has always wanted to internationalize the issue, which is why, in fact, let me just tell you that, this is where Pakistan said that it is Indian-administered Jammu and Kashmir. That's the phrase that was used by Pakistan at, of course, the UNHRC. That, of course, were the allegations that were rebutted by India, and it has, of course, all along maintained that J&K is an integral part of India, unlike the Pakistan's illegal occupation of Gilgit-Baltistan.
That's right, and already we are looking at how India has been successfully managed to expose Pakistan on several accounts internationally. Very recently, of course, seeing the ICJ episode as well, where Pakistan was quite shamed in the manner in which it violated the conventions, international conventions they're being signed. So consistently, and looking at the strategy that we have against Pakistan at multiple levels now, Gauri, be it diplomatically, be it internationally, isolation of Pakistan really continues.
India has been very successful. Prime Minister Modi has been very successful in diplomatically isolating Pakistan at all major international forums.
Yeah.
And that is where, in fact, if I just point out the statement, it categorically says that Pakistan remains an illegal occupation of a part of our territory, making it absolutely clear that it is Pakistan that illegally occupies part of Kashmir, and of course J&K remains an integral part of India.
All right, we leave it at that, Gauri. Thanks very much for joining us for a moment with those details. But here